if I am live. Oh, okay. I'm live. What's going on, everybody? It is CJ, aka Slip and Jimmy, here for another episode of Dad's Bet Baseball. Adam is so distraught over getting to lose Zach Wheeler for the season. So he's actually just done betting baseball for the year. So it's actually going to be me hosting the show for the rest of the season. And Berg, you're back. You got out of your funeral clothes. I'm happy to see you in good spirits.
It's what's really funny is like I wouldn't have put it past you for that to have not been a bit. I'm like, oh, dude, he's gonna let me have it because of not being here on time. And for various dad-related reasons, I did some of the bed routine, but I failed immediately and was kicked out of the room by my daughter. So.
Yeah, I had that happen to me.
It just doesn't work. We'll talk about it in dad moves, but I don't know why. I don't know what it never works. Anyway,
you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's all I'm going to say. You can't win in that situation because you're trying to help. Your kid doesn't want any part of you, but then you're just like completely worthless. So,
yes, 100%. We got people's filing in. I'm sure that, Colby is going to make an appearance. Did you do the whole, I only came in at 10 seconds, so I don't know if you did the whole Dad's a Bet who were brought to you by. Do you want to do it?
We're literally just about to get into that. So, but thank you for teeing that. You can follow us guys and this is both Adam and I. So yes, Adam is going to be joining me for the rest of the season, thankfully. So at Dad's Bet Baseball on X. We obviously are streaming this on Twitch and YouTube as well. And we are sponsored by Hall of Fame Bets. We love these guys, and we're actually going to jump right into Hall of Fame Bets here in just a second. But make sure you use the promo code DADS. That is going to get you, I believe it's a week free and 50 and off.
You get 50% off the first month.
50% off the first month, right? Yeah.
So and it's 100%. Awesome deal. It's got every single sport. It's got more sports than handicaps. It's great.
And thanks for the reminder. But we've got NFL also kicking off, and we'll talk a little bit later also in the show about some fun stuff we've got coming up for that. But perfect time to go use that promo code, start researching some of the NFL. College football's live in Hall of Fame Bets. I always forget that you have college football and college basketball, but like we did last week, you kicked off and I was the late one. Although I was coming from a work event and in this case, but I wanted to actually drive this time and kind of show you something that I was playing around with last night. We'll see if it comes through for me today. But so one thing in Hall of Fame Bets is I like using this trends tab a lot, and it's not just for player props.
Sorry. Bets are just cashing all over the place live. This
is happening. I see, by the way.
Go. Yeah, like Buzzy jumping into the chat right away. But Hoppy just immediately cashed. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's just I need the White Sox to score like 3 more runs on their own. Of course, like Kansas City is just deciding to be completely inept at the plate today, and I love the over in that game, and one side is scoring runs, but the other one is not.
I had both teams at 3, but later I will show you why my initial text to you was I like the White Sox. I'll show you when we get there.
Yeah.
I like learning how
you and I were both on
given
the
we
same.
both design it's you did the technical build and all the heavy lift on the site, but it's always fun when you and I see how both of us use the tools that we like how we both use Hall of Fame Bets differently. Not in a bad way, and how we both use handicaps differently. Again, not in a bad way.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's just it's no, it's not. It's well, you know me. I'll definitely tell someone if I think they're doing it the bad way. But like, do you want to? We should have an episode where you just read text that I send you, like the other, like.
I'm just gonna go into the Discord where it's
you're like, oh man, you were really
just gonna read text for text on why your bet sucks. There's literally a channel.
There's an entire channel. No, but it's. But it's no, because I like watching your stuff because there's different ways that I do it. You're also one of like 2 people that I actually trust on bets. So anyway, go on. I'm not hijacking.
He's buttering me up after I was about ready to kick
You
him
were
off
gone.
the show. So
Well,
thank you for that. So anyways, no. So on the trends tab though, I've got a ton of filters listed here, but that's just because I'm selecting all the games for tomorrow because you're still going to see the games for today. So I put in all the games, but on the trends tab, you can use teams for different types of trends on here. So it's not just player props. And one cool thing that you can use as a way to like start trying to find a bet for tomorrow is going into this tab and then playing around with some things like team runs, total runs, maybe runs allowed. And then I'm looking for stuff that might have like a decent matchup grade. So when we get to football season, like this matters, in my opinion, a lot more. But this is still a good, like quick filter you can put on here to start narrowing down. Oh, hey, like between starting pitcher and bullpen, this offense may have a pretty good matchup. Like that's really all this matchup filter is doing. And then I set this to over. So here tomorrow are the teams that have a matchup greater than B, have a B grade, and they've been kind of like they've been scoring runs, at least when you look at it based on trends. And then based on the price, that's the implied probability of what it should be versus what the actual odds are. So there's a couple on here. Like I went and looked at Braves, didn't really love the matchup just given like Sandy's actually been, I don't know if you noticed this, but Sandy's been quite good.
He's been great. He's been great. He's been a sneaky,
seems to be
he's been a super sneaky under on my unders tab on Handigraphs. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I think avoid that one. But the one that stuck out to me was I looked at the Rangers. I just can't quit this team in terms of finding a way to make or lose money on them rather. But you could see like over 3.5 runs. Like I'm seeing, okay, 11% edge. They've been over this every single game in their last 5, 7 of their last 10. So you can go here to that leaders right over here. And then what I like to do is, so I want to see like, okay, if you've been scoring runs, is it by luck or are you actually like getting a lot of guys on bases? And you can see in team total bases, if you toggle over to teams, you go to batting, and you just do stat team total bases. I'm looking for at least 13. Not surprised that the Mets here are number 1, and although Philly's number 2 in the last 5, but Rangers are 3rd in that category. So I'm like, okay, well, they're getting a lot of bases. That correlates with their scoring runs. So it just means in general to me, like this team has been hitting. And then what I'm going to do is I go into Handigraphs. So now I've got sort of like just got my laser beam on the Rangers and I want to see what their matchup looks like, at least a little bit more granular from the split side. And you can see like they've got Kikuchi, which obviously the season stats look good. He's been garbage lately. 5.06 ERA. And you can see like all the batted ball stuff with him has been horrible. So clearly he's regressed a lot and kind of like, this is like who he is, by the way. Like you and I both know this. Like he can be awesome for, long stretches. And then he just totally like turns into a pumpkin. So last season, it was just a reverse. So I look here and I'm like, all right, well, they got Kikuchi. And then I go over to my batters tab and I go, okay, last 30 against left-handers. Not like amazing on the Ranger side, but look at that ISO. Pretty good down the line for tomorrow's matchup between Langford, Higashida, Garcia, Freeman. And then I go to team stats. I'm like, okay, well, in the last month.
Who the hell is Cody Freeman?
I have no idea.
Some of these guys who are on the Rangers, I've literally never heard of.
You know what I'm saying, Adam? I'm just glad he's no longer undefined.
I'm really just glad we don't have to worry about any Rangers liability anymore.
Me too. But day to day, I'm okay to still.
We have one last one to worry about.
Money on
them have more wins than the Orioles, which I think.
And by the way, you see Marcus Semien broke his foot, so he's
I know. And Adley got kicked off the team. Adley got kicked off the Orioles. So both of those, not to get excited, but yeah, both those bets are fine.
So
keep going.
I go to the team stats right here. And again, like they're not like tremendous in terms of the last 4 weeks, but still pretty decent. And I know from Hall of Fame bets that they're hitting the ball pretty well and just in general. So, okay, that sort of checks the box there. And then all I need to do is I'm just going to go into Texas Rangers and, I can go and see like total runs, and just start kind of building that trend. And actually, like, they've scored 7 or more runs. This is actually kind of wild to me. They've scored 7 or more runs in 9 of their last 10. They're averaging 9.5 runs per game. So remember that 3.5, we don't see the odds for tomorrow just yet, but 3.5 already on DraftKings said -145. This team's, again, they've scored 7 or more in 9 of their last 10, depending on their game tonight. So I like a Texas team total over as just like kind of a quick eyeball. But dude, this is how, when I was texting you last night, this is why, like, I looked at the White Sox. I'm like, man, like the White Sox are popping off on a lot of this stuff for
they don't
like,
strike out
bases. They've,
like that's part of the thing.
They make
that's part of the thing with
contact.
this Rangers thing. Like I don't care if a team's not hitting. If you're not striking out, then you're always in play because you're putting the ball in play. Like the Rangers team, if you look at that, if you looked at like, I don't know if you the handy tab, but if you go to the handicap tab, you were pointing out the ISO. None of those guys, nobody on that team is striking out. It's great. So anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Pretty decent Woba and Babbitt. I mean, that's really all I got in terms of just kind of using those two. I mean, do you ever use the trends like filtering based on team, or do you specifically just use it for player?
Oh, I use it mostly for team. Like in fact, when I first like fell in love with like Hall of Fame bets, it was oh man, did you see, like, I'm like, dude, team strikeouts and team bases. And it's great because
that makes a lot.
I just like it a lot.
A ton of the team markets at the
I was playing a ton of it, and I murdered that market. But like, I played around on leaders, and then I eventually was like, oh, I could go to stats. There's a lot of reasons why I like that app, and I find new things every day. And Brian and that team are just building really good stuff over there. And I the desktop app kind of changed the game on everything for me with them. I just constantly have it up, and I think it's a great tool. And again, everybody who's listening, dads, go figure, that's our code. And it helps support the show, helps support a sponsor of the show. And and like, you can also always, when you are watching this stuff and you're using our site or their site, you have a question, just hit us up, because we're in both of these all day. And so we have like really good sense of how to do things. So all right, what's next? What did we have as our next segment? All right.
We're before we get into our next, so you want to talk to some of the awards?
Well, before we get into our next segment,
something else.
Well, before we do a little more baseball, pause for a second. We had said this before. We are going to, like, what do we do? We got a question. What do we do when it's not baseball anymore? Well, the answer is we're going to do football, not because we just want to stick around, but because we're actually pretty good at it too. So we are going to be continuing through the fall as Dad's Bet Baseball and Football, and Hall of Fame Bets will still continue to be our presenting sponsor. Pretty excited about it. I think one of the things that I thought would be a really good way to kind of kick off that we will be shows will start to be, I believe, Monday nights and Wednesdays.
Yeah, we don't want to cut into your Thursday night football.
Yeah. We'll be doing Wednesday night shows that are going to be. Yeah, Wednesdays will be football, and Mondays will actually be a baseball hockey combo kind of thing. We'll start that. So the first football show will be the Wednesday before week one starts, and then after that,
I think it's next week.
Yeah,
next week is our first
next week
football show. Crazy.
So that'll be a lot of fun. But I will give. So I want to give, like, as everybody knows, I roll futures into more futures. Friend of the pod, Sean Green, has a briefcase in LA in the SGPN studio that literally is my paper tickets. It's like, $2,000 worth of paper.
You're just you're gonna leave Nora and Jake one day, like, all your outstanding future tickets. Like,
that's I'll leave them the keys to my Bet US account. Free advertising for Bet US. Good call here by Spencer. Just Sean Green. All right, so there is one play. There's a future that I really, really like. That I did take early, and I haven't seen that number really change. So one of the markets that's really good to play in futures, if you don't really like the win totals, and I was talking with another Sean Hardy, who I've known for a while today about it, of like, hey, we have a team and they only have 7.5 wins, or their win total's low, and I want to fade them. Fade their total points on the season And so specifically, I like the Colts as the lowest scoring team at 22-1. I took this bet before Daniel Jones was officially named the starter. I love it now that Daniel Jones has been officially named the starter because he thinks he's a running back. And he's not that bad, but still. I think this team just does not have the offensive quarterbacks to be able to make the ball move. And I think that their total points for the season, I believe it's around 340. It's something very low. It's something where they would have to average only 21. So, but I think that they're going to bottom out. I actually do think that this could possibly be the worst team in the league and have the least wins. But I'm going to go with the lowest scoring team, 22-1. That's our first official Dad's Bet Baseball future that I've put out for NFL.
Mine's way more square than that.
Oh, what do you got?
Mine's a lot juicier. I'm just going right now. We'll talk about this next week. Right now, if you're getting in any of your team futures in terms of wins, how far are they going to go? Are they going to go to the Super Bowl, etc.? I usually always say, wait till there's a bye point in the middle of the season. One team does not qualify for that right now. Go bet the Baltimore Ravens, number 1 seed, plus 325 on Bet365. I guarantee you that is not it doesn't sound like a great price. They have that game against Buffalo on week 1. They win that game against Buffalo. They are already in the driver's seat. You will never get that 325 again. Somebody
learned something from me last season. That was a big thing that I didn't know. That's a great bet. You got it because you want to start doing this where you see teams where it's who are they going to be? Who's their tiebreaker going to be against? And will they be in the driver's seat for this? And that is absolutely the way to play that. That's the best way to play the ceiling on that team. That's a great bet.
Because I like the Bills otherwise. Again, you could do the same thing. The Bills I think are plus 350. So
I took Bills as last unbeaten team because which is effectively 6-1 money line against the Ravens because that's the game.
Great week 1 game, but if you're going to bet that game, just bet whoever you think is going to win, bet them to win the number 1 seed because both of them also have games against the Chiefs and they can control their own destiny if they win that first game. So there you go. That's wow. I got a stamp of approval. I didn't think that was going to be one you were going to be crazy about, but
no, I do like, we both basically took better money lines of what the week 1 is because that is so you took Ravens 1 seed, which is effectively a 3-1 money line against the Bills.
Yep.
Arguably. And then I took Bills' last unbeaten team, which is effectively a 6-1 money line against the Ravens. So that's how we think about it. That's how you got to play it. So, all right, back to baseball. And for those just joining, Dad's Bet Baseball, you guys have been giving us views. You've been giving us subs, all sorts of things. Subs, not simps. I love it. Here's something I want to talk about from friend of the program and frequent guest, Colby Marchio. He has been putting up his dukes on a couple AL awards, MVP and Cy Young. Well, more MVP, not Cy Young. But I'm just going to come out and say it. Aaron Judge is the MVP of the AL, and Tariq Skubal is the Cy Young of the AL. And I don't think that the arguments on the other side are particularly strong, and I will continue to dig into this. I don't know. Now, I rest my case. The shortest segment ever.
Great. That's it.
That's it. No, right. Roll credits. Roll credits.
I think, what are the prices right now for MVP on AL? Because last I saw, Judge was minus 150, I think.
It's minus 150, and Cal's plus 145. Look, here's the thing. I could go and I could say, oh, well, everybody who's backing Cal basically points to WAR. WAR, I've said this before, but WAR has become I don't have a lot of an argument, so I'm going to just give you a stat. And generally it's pushed by folks that, are
like myself, by the way, I quote WAR on this program quite a bit.
I get it. So here's the thing. I will take this apart. Judge has an OBP that's 80 points higher. he has a K rate that is 12 percentage points lower. Judge's K rate is on par with the average K rate of the league. His is 23%. It's 22%. Cal's is 37%. Since the All-Star break, Seattle is 1916 and Cal Raleighy's posted a 216 average, 286 OBP, a 771 OPS. He's got 29 hits. He struck out 48 times. And I don't understand why people can't just accept he's having a great year. And Colby wrote a really good article on Betting News about this, that he's having a great year. He's having a great year. He's absolutely silver slugger, but he's not MVP. And if you look at what happened to this Yankees team when Judge went out of the lineup, they almost spiraled out to the point where people were shipping them to be one of the worst teams in the league over the rest of the season. It was done. As soon as he came back, things kind of righted the ship. I mean, I tried to fade them tonight. They beat the Sunday Night Baseball curse. And I really liked them tonight. They had a rookie pitcher coming off a perfect game through 7 going against the Nats. I loved the Nats first 5. They're up 7-0 as this game is starting right now. So Aaron Judge, I believe, is also dragging, arguably Cody Bellinger and a bunch of NPCs through this season. The pitch protection that he has given to the rest of the players in this team. Trent Grisham, who's obviously the top of the lineup, they're pitching to him. He's got 25 home runs. Ben Rice has 20 plus home runs. There's a lot of these guys on the team that are having great years because of that. I get then there's this argument that people say, well, Cal Raleigh's a catcher and catchers have a more physical demand. The Seattle Mariners pitching staff is bottom third of the league in terms of ERA, in terms of WAR. They're very good at striking guys out, but everybody on that team from a pitching standpoint has had a down year on what was supposed to be their strength. I think that a team that is projected to win 87 games, and the Yankees, I admit, are projected to be 88, 89. What Aaron Judge does for that team as MVP lifts that team in a very different way than Cal Raleigh, because I think that Cal Raleigh is basically Kyle Schwarber from last year.
Well,
low average, lots of boom.
So I think you kind of made the point as you were literally just naming Yankee players. Like, and we did this actually. What was it? Was it 2022 was the year where
2023,
if you go,
the 82 year?
Or 2023, go look at a screenshot of like what the lineup was from their last game that season.
We did this on a show
once. It's hysterical.
We did this on the Aaron Judge's underrated show.
We did. That's true. We did good callback. But like, so you just said Trent Grisham, Ben Rice, kind of somewhat washed Cody Bellinger, Stanton, who wasn't playing for 2 to 3 months of the season, Austin Wells. Okay, these are guys that are supporting or around Aaron Judge. When you've got Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, Julio Rodriguez, who is supposed to be the second coming. You've got Randy Arozarena. Like, I just named 4 very relevant players that are all around Cal Raleigh. And yet Cal Raleigh is right now he does have a 14 RBI lead, but again, Judge missed time. So this would be neck and neck on RBIs. And if you look at everything else, like, my thing also is you have to give, okay, Cal Raleigh plays defense. Great. That should give him flowers for that.
Sure.
We talk all the time about how nobody can hit over 300, and Aaron Judge is, I believe, is he 324 right now? I think in terms of plate appearances, he might even lead the AL. I'd have to go double check that, but he leads that in average. And then, dude, from a WRC plus standpoint, he's got a 30-point lead, like a 34-point lead in WRC.
30-point lead on
on
I would argue an infinitely worse lineup.
Yes. Aaron Judge's WRC plus was over 200 for the majority of the season. And remember that 100 is like average. He was double that for like most of the season. So also who the Yankees had, Fried had a good first half. He's been pretty bad the second half. Rodon has been very up and down. It's not like the pitching staff has done them any favors. The bullpen's been bad. He's literally been the only really good, consistent thing on the team the whole season. Isn't that what the MVP is about? Like, it's that team would be under 500 without Judge at this point. So, yeah. I mean, you're not, you know me, like I'm the biggest I'm the biggest Aaron Judge fan who is not a Yankee fan probably here. And
I would say,
but
yeah,
also I just think
look,
that like all the
no, I
numbers
agree.
also support this is not just like us being biased on that. And for that matter, when I hear that on the same note that Garrett Crochet should be the AL Cy Young, I'm like, get out of here. Like, get out of here.
No.
Like, how are we not giving Tarek Skubal, like, so what? So let me look at Skubal's last month, because I know it hasn't been like,
no, he hasn't had a great last month. But for me, it comes down to
so
one thing. He has the third shortest odds for MVP. He has third shortest odds for MVP. That's how important he is to the team with the best record, the best non-Brewers team in baseball is the Detroit Tigers, and which plays with arguably no stars. And he has the third shortest odds for MVP. The fact that he has the third shortest odds for MVP, which I get, they're still long, tells me that he is miles and miles away from Garrett Crochet in terms of importance and in terms of how good of a pitcher he is. This is I think this is the market over because he's like minus 130 or something right now. That's a bet it. Like that, I added it to a parlay.
That's one where that's kind of like the Pat Murphy one.
He has a great schedule coming up too. Better. Like they're gonna play the White
Sox. Sierra, he's got Crochet 2.55 to 2.89 Ks per 9. He's got Crochet K percentage. He's got Crochet K minus BB. I mean, yeah, WHIP. He's got Crochet. I'm trying to literally look at a stat here where Crochet has him beat. Walks, he has him beat. Home runs per 9, he has him beat. I mean, literally every single stat he has Crochet beat. So I think it's honestly crazy that he's not like minus 300, minus 350, which is also wild to me that the liability is not as high as I would expect it to be on him, because I mean,
people just want to
that's why Ohtani is like minus 2,000.
They make up this fatigue. Like I heard there's Judge fatigue. Well, first of all, if there's any fatigue on anybody, it's Ohtani. And second of all, people just want to be contrarian for the sake of contrarian. The people that are shipping Tariq Skubal is not the best pitcher in the league are the same people that consistently are trying to tell you that Yordan Alvarez is the MVP of the AL, and they're only doing that just
you know what league has a lot of quote voter fatigue that we hear every single year? The National Basketball Association. How many times did I have to hear in this last year that they can't give it to Jokic again? They've given it to him twice. He's already got it. He's already earned it. Guess who won the MVP? Nikola Jokic. Like they give it to who's the best player. Like this is not like people are just tired and they won't give it. It goes to almost certainly with MVP and Cy, who is going to be statistically the best player, and it's pretty obvious who's the best player. So both for Judge, and I think honestly the argument for Skubal over Crochet is even stronger than the Judge over Raleigh one. Like I could at least sit in a room on the catcher stuff with Raleigh and give you my attention. Skubal, I'm like, you need to like go take a swim or something, because it's just, I think it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, and we've talked about this all season, is that you will see markets fluctuate like crazy for just no apparent reason. And this is one of those things. And I don't think that I think that Skubal is a great bet. I think that Judge is a great bet. I think it's chalky, but I think that these are the two best players. I think the data backs that up. I think that they're going to end up pulling away. By the way, there's a greater than zero average that Seattle misses the playoffs, by the way. Royals are hot. Royals are real hot right now, even though they're losing right now. And we're possibly both going to lose our bets.
Not the best night to talk.
I know. I don't know why I got cute. I was like, forget this. I mean, yeah, but we can, whatever. So is this a good time to take people through? Should we take people through a live lab or something, and just kind of, what do we want to do?
I think one thing that I proposed this a couple of weeks ago, whenever we were trying to figure out a rundown for when we didn't have a guest, but we talk a lot about like different, so on, for example, on handigraphs, like we use a lot of different filters to go through and start to kind of narrow down, just like I did even at the beginning of this show with Hall of Fame bets. What are some of the guys, teams that we want to start looking at? And what I think is interesting is that you are constantly going and trying to kind of iterate on which filters or which sort of sort of fine tuning your model per se. And I thought it would be kind of good for us to scratch pad a little bit and show how we think about changing our process when we're going and building some of these things.
Yeah. Do you want me to share my screen? I can show people.
Sure.
Yeah, it's an easy way to do it. So for those who tuning in, you got the good stuff as part of this. So let's see. Oh, look at that. Spencer's like on top of it. Okay, so here he's always on top of it. I don't even know why I said it like that. So let me use actually as an example. I'm gonna use an example right now. So I played around with a lot of filters, and I pivot them based on the markets that I'm looking at. The last couple of weeks, I said, hey, you know what? I really want to find a way to get more into sides, because it's very easy to go to our site and sort by K rate and say, oh, look at this. Like Tariq Skubal is tonight, and you'll probably K Shea Langoliers like 1 billion times. And which that game starts in an hour. You guys have time to bet that. So, but what I started doing was I started playing around, and I want to use the White Sox one as the White Sox KC game as an example. So let me get to this. I don't know why I did it that way, but all right. So I got this game up. Shout out to CJ for creating a game filter there. I've been starting with last 5 because I work my way down when I'm working with a micro unit of one game, because I can take the pictures and really see the format from there. I created a filter called potential unders. Neither of these pitchers obviously qualify for it, but what I'll usually do is I'll do that to kind of see, hey, is this a lot of pitchers that have really low stuff over a course of time, which would basically say they're in really good form. So I did that. I do that when I'm trying to look for what I don't know what I want to look for. You had mentioned to me last night, hey, I'm looking at the alt over on this KCR White Sox game. And so I looked at it and I said, all right, cool. Like in the last 5, like Shane Smith's been kind of stinky. The big thing I always look for is an xERA that has a discrepancy to the ERA. This is, his last 5, Shane Smith's been noticeably, he should be worse. And Noah Cameron should be worse. So I, move it then to the last 3, and I see, wow, Noah Cameron really over his last 3 should be worse. And Shane Smith over his last 3 should be slightly worse, but Noah Cameron really worse. So when I saw that, I said, all right, you know what? This is really making me, if anything, like really lean the White Sox, but I don't want to trust this whole team. I did the last 3 at home, and it's small, but it still matters. Shane Smith in his last 3 starts at home has an ERA of 6.3. His expected ERA is 5. A lot of his metrics were going in the right direction for me. And when I looked at Noah Cameron's stuff on the road was going in the wrong direction for me. So my first thing that I had said to you was, you know what? I like the White Sox here. So I did this. I messed around. I played around the filter, did that. I like to, I'll go to the, I'll then go to check the lineup and just see, look at this, like this White Sox lineup against, so here, there, he's a lefty. So this White Sox lineup on lefties, like this is all red. This White Sox lineup is just white hot right now when it comes to hitting. They're crushing it right now. Like nobody, look at that. Nobody has a K rate is K'ing at all on this team. Quietly, one of the most disciplined teams in the league, not walking, but not K'ing. So, and the BABIPs are high. So initial thought was, I want Chicago White Sox. I ended up getting cute because I don't trust Shane Smith, and I took both teams to 3, and that's why I lost, because I got cute. But just one of the things that just is happening with me now is, as I'm playing around with our site more, is that I'm starting to say, if this market's not working for me, what's a better one that works for me? And I'll do another quick, clear all, and then I'll kind of hand the reins over to you. But for tomorrow, for example, taking the last 5, I'll do a filter of I have a filter that I literally made that's lots of base runners. So these are guys that have a whip greater than 1.5, an xERA greater than 4, and a BABIP greater than 0.290, which means that they are just letting guys on base and things are happening. These are all, to me, potential overs. But what I'll do is I'll look at, hey, do I have anything where it's both pitchers on both sides? So right now, like Mackenzie Gore and Luis Seal, both of these guys are on the same list. This right here, the Cardinal, like Andre Palante and Mitch Keller, both of these guys are on the same list that I have of a filter of, hey, these guys are giving up lots of base runners. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm starting to use within the site, and I'll dig in to kind of help me take tons of information and whittle it down into, okay, well, give me a serviceable pool to pull from so that I can try to make some decisions and make some bets.
So let's take a step back, because one thing I
Sure.
wanted to mosey on a little bit here was,
yes,
when you are first starting to bet baseball, right? What is the one thing I know you always tell people is what?
Watch the games.
Okay, that's number one. Number two is pick a few metrics that you really care about. And stick
the three that you care about.
Right. So what I always try to tell people, and this is just from personal experience, like, you're not going to learn every single one of these statistics and what's really good and really bad overnight. If you use handy graphs, you'll learn it very fast. But you don't focus on, like, if you're built, like when you were kind of going through those filters, right? Because I'm thinking around, okay, well, if I'm somebody new to betting baseball and I see what the hell is xERA,
sure,
my recommendation with that is, like, when you're kind of looking at these filters, is focus on one stat, start to kind of track and like watch the games and see if it lines up. Like it, ground ball rate as just a perfect example, right? What does ground ball rate mean? Pretty simple. Is that pitcher allowing a lot of guys that the quality of contact, does he give up a lot of ground balls? And then from there, when you start to see, like, okay, 40% or 50%, that's really good. Like, oh, he's been giving up a lot of ground balls. This is the type of pitcher he is. Well, what does a lot of ground balls usually mean? Well, it doesn't mean that you're giving up probably nearly as many as home runs, because you're not giving up as many fly balls. So I think the whole sort of exercise with this is start with one and then add. You can start to see what are some of those correlated stats and build sort of like a basic recipe for one of these things. Because what I do for home runs is, it's pretty simple. It's hard hit rate, it's barrel, and it's fly ball rate. Like, those are the three that I'm going to stick with. I can add in other stuff, and then don't add in like 6 or 7 other metrics to make this like a whole sort
don't
of
overcomplicate it.
Just like the beauty with this is, like, start to sort of like think of it as almost like a toggle where you're sliding back and forth. So you're saying, okay, instead of xERA being above 4, maybe I want to try 3.8 and see if I'm going to get any sort of like difference in that, right? That's kind of the method that I particularly use, is like, I'm not necessarily changing the column. I'm not changing the stat, but if I'm trying to like add a little bit more spice or take a little bit away of flavor from one, that to me is a lot more effective in finding bets than it is going to be trying to like just jumble or throw another stat into something that I'm maybe not as familiar with.
Yeah. And also, I like, for batters, I try to keep it simple too. So I'm on Tomorrow right now, and I have one filter that's just literally called, people can see my filters here, I have hitters be hitting, and one of the ways that I do, so hitters be hitting,
I believe you have the record for most safe filters on the site, but I have to go query
Dong
this.
Patrol is
I'm
on
pretty
here,
sure that you have more than anybody. Yeah.
Well, I want it so that I can target any sort of micro market, because if a market's not doing well, that I want to do whatever. So Whiff Boys is a really good one. Whiff Boys is one metrics on here. You have a K rate over 27%, which is bad. But I'll give you, by the way, 2 guesses of who constantly shows up on here. Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh's always on this list.
So funny, because I was going to say Julio as my first guess, but yeah.
No, he's sometimes on it, but Cal Raleigh is always on this list. So I do last 5, and what I'll do is I'll sort this whole thing, and I look for and I always recommend this to folks that are just starting out with handicaps. Like, finding a good way to bet on something not to happen when you are starting to bet baseball is actually going to be infinitely more profitable than trying to bet home runs and RBIs and things to happen. So a really good thing that you can do
at this time of the year, especially at this time of the year with batters. Yes.
And so something that's great on our site, very, very easy. Blue is bad, red is good. You could make a filter based around pumping up a particular stat that you know is negatively correlated to performance, such as K rate. So I'm looking for who are the guys with the most extremely bad K rates. And then what I'm also trying to do, and by the way, we don't need to add this, but I'm just saying, and guys that are in the lower part of the batting order are really good for like to bet to not have hits and to bet to have Ks because they stink and they're down there for a reason. So what you look at is if a guy is striking out a lot, he's also, you can see not getting on base. So tomorrow, like a really good example, like Weston Wilson, who he has an expected batting average of 104 over his last 5 games. He has a 46% K rate. He's probably going to get lifted at some point because he's batting 9th. But what I'm probably going to do is take him to have no hits because he's in such bad form over his last 5 games that this is kind of the bet that I would want to make. So I do that a lot. I'll circle guys the night before. And again, it's about, I said this to Buzzy earlier today, cause like, Buzzy and I are kind of deconstructing like how he puts together his bets and what he wants to focus on. And as I figured out what the 3 are that you, like you said, 3 metrics that you love and that you like and that you care about and that you understand, you don't have to know every single thing. I don't actually know what zone percentage on our site means, and that's fine. I don't pay attention to it.
Pitches in the zone. But
thank you. Okay. Well, I care about, but you know what I didn't know? I didn't know what K minus BB meant until you told me 3 weeks ago. I pretended.
I know. I can't believe it.
I go on all these shows and pretend I'm a baseball expert. I have no idea what that metric meant. But the thing is what do I care about? I care about hard hits. I care about barrels. And this year I really care about BABIP. And last year was a little bit more ISO, but this year very much BABIP. I made up with BABIP. I was not into it for a while, but that's the thing. It's like, those are 3 metrics. I'm like, who are pitchers that are constantly giving up these things? So I have this one filter called Smacked Around Like a Hoe. And it features guys that have really high ISOs against really high slugging, really high hard hit. And these are guys tomorrow that have been smacked around, quite frankly, like a hoe. Chris Bassett has been smacked like a hoe. And Patrick Corbin also smacked like a hoe. Brandon Pfaadt, who possibly will lead the league in wins. Terrible. So find the metrics that you care about, apply them. And if something isn't working, pivot. It's okay to not keep betting home runs. You can find, there's a billion markets. We killed the DP market. So you can too. That's all.
Yeah. You don't have to stick to, like, if you start out for example, on total bases, don't give up on total bases for the year, but it's okay to like pivot and go play something else. I feel like I'm saying something that's like totally generic and like this is extremely easy to comprehend and understand. Like, but try and like, yeah, if you're not hitting total bases, you probably, especially at the beginning of the year, you may have a good process. It just may not be a good time of the year to bet total bases. Try again later. Like, figure out something that you can bet. Pivot to pitchers. We bet a ton of pitchers and pitcher outs at the beginning of the year because they're fresh and coming off of, the off season and spring training. So you get a little bit of a better sense of what guys are available and whatnot. So yeah, all in all, I think like it just comes down at the end of the day, follow the number 1 rule, which is first watch the games. Because then you can actually start to connect the dots in terms of some of the different metrics going in and out.
It also becomes strategic. Like,
I'm glad you're able to run through that.
Yeah. And it seems like Buzzy just commented that this was really helpful. Like, Buzzy, that's the thing is about all of this stuff that we're trying to do is that, ultimately, and I know that CJ feels the exact same way on this, but I would rather teach everybody to fish than to fish for them. First of all, it's exhausting to fish for everybody, and I don't want to do that. Secondly, it's just, I get a lot more joy out of seeing everybody have their light bulb moments and be able to run with it. Like, we have people that have used the site. E-Bomb started using Hall of Fame Bets, and he started using our site. And even when he's using Hall of Fame Bets, he's like suddenly became a Nerfy expert. He never bet baseball before. He's using Hall of Fame Bets now too, and he's crushing WNBA props. There's people that I've seen that I've met in like the Rhythm Discord that are like, oh, I use your site and I use Rhythm, and it basically helps me validate what's going on here. And I feel more confident using another tool because I'm using your raw data and stuff like that. And I'd rather just see everybody fish and do that. And it's just this is only my fourth year of doing this. So
I'm just glad that we didn't start this show in April or May of last year, because every time I would come into an argument with you, I'd be like, you know what? My model actually has.
Oh man, remember that?
Pascantino projected at 2.37 bases tonight, so I'm just going to go with that. So yeah, which by the way, projections. It's good to use projections. Just don't that. Can't be the only. That can't be the only piece of your secret sauce. Like it just needs to be like a compass, but it can't be the only thing getting you there.
Yes, I agree. The last thing I will say on this, and we can move on, is as you get to the playoffs, it's going to be a little bit more about strategy. As you get to the last month of the season, it's going to be a little bit more about strategy. You're going to want to look for outs for pitchers. You're going to want to look at, is this team in the playoffs? Is this team not in the playoffs? Does this team have any off days coming up? Example. Phillies. We talked about this earlier today. While we were texting, Phillies have 39 games in 41 days. So if you blanket bet the under outs on their pitchers, you're going to be in a good shape, because rosters don't expand until next week, and they cannot have, with Wheeler out, they cannot have everybody just exceeding 7-8 innings. They just can't do it. They're going to have to be very creative on how they manage that. Look at that stuff. When we get to the playoffs, a lot of times if someone hits a home run first at bat or second at bat, they're going to probably get intentionally walked the other time. That's not as much the case during the regular season, because teams don't always care. Playoffs, you'll start to see if a lineup isn't hitting.
Be looking for a lot of over 1.5 walks for your Aaron Judges and Cal Raleigh in the postseason, if Cal Raleigh gets there. I jinxed myself at the beginning of this show, joking about that you were going to Zach Wheeler's funeral. I'm going to be leaving here for Christopher Sanchez's viewing and wake for our Cy Young for 2025 after this show. So,
we can also, full disclosure, we took Skeens on open. I've never taken a short guy. Yeah. We have a lot on Skeens for open. So but yeah, I mean, look, I would argue Skeens is rightfully minus.
No. He's certainly.
I'm not complaining about this one. It's been a fun ride, and it's a really fun ride in the sense that the number that everybody is saying Christopher Sanchez opened at, you're seeing a lot of people say he opened at 50-1. Guess what, guys? He didn't open at 50-1. He opened at 100-1, and we gave it out because I remember it was the day after Christmas when the lines went out, and I started bothering CJ. And I'm just like, CJ, we have a bet that we have to make. And he's like, what? And I said, Christopher Sanchez is 100-1, and he just showed up to see.
Well, I think I tried to burn through every single Canby account I had, and I was like, I think I can get max down of about.
We found a dude in the Discord who did it for us.
Some amazing.
It's amazing. I went to Canada for some of these bets. It was crazy. So anyway, that's it. We can move on to what do we got?
Dad news time. Yeah.
Dad news time.
It's time for some dad news.
My dad move is again, as usual. Well, we had Nora's birthday this weekend, so my dad move is it's not. I was thinking, is it going to be about tablets? Is it going to be about this? I think it's my dad.
What percentage of the party did you plan versus
my wife planned the whole thing?
Okay. That's the correct.
A lot of these become good husband moves. I'm trying to think what my dad move is for the week. I think it's Oh, you know what it is? My dad moves probably figure out what your wind down activities are that don't get someone really excited. So kids love trampolines.
Yeah.
They get very excited about trampolines. I thought that tonight it would wind my daughter down to play this little card matching game. She got a Spike. Her theme of her birthday party was Spidey and Friends. And she got these matching things, and she doesn't know how to play. She doesn't understand, you have to remember it and do the other one. She just turns them all over. But it's like it becomes the shell game for her of turning them all over, and got her really riled up, to which she wouldn't go to sleep for me. And I kind of ditched her on my wife, who was already mad at me for a variety of reasons. And so it did not go well. So what I should have done is gone back in time and said, hey, Adam, a better wind down activity is giving her some markers and a piece of paper. That is a surefire way to calm somebody down, is to let them draw, not have them play any game where they have to focus and think about things.
Yeah, such a good point. That's something that I would deploy a lot when I was on my paternity leave, and I had to keep Elena quiet while my son was napping. And so I just literally put her at like a craft station and be like, hey, here's markers, here's paper, go at it. Like, and she would, do that for 15, 20 minutes and not say anything unless she had to ask for a snack or something. So that's a good dad move in itself right there, is get your kids to draw, right before they go to bed, in terms of getting them to wind down. I got one this week from my travels in the last week. I was up in Vermont with the family, and you get in a situation when you have multiple kids and you've got one room where you guys can sleep. You're going to do everything you can to not have both of the kids sleep in the same room with you. It's bad enough to have to try and keep one. Don't be afraid to put your kid, especially if they're still in a pack and play, to put them in the bathroom and just let them sleep in the bathroom. Like,
I like this.
When you're at a hotel, it's dark. Like, they don't care. Like, my son slept in the pack and play in the bathroom. He was fine. Didn't know the difference. It was actually darker in there than it would have been even out in our bedroom. So pack and play, you're going to feel like weird about it the first time you do it. I trust you. The next morning after you deploy that method, you'll never look back. So if you need that extra space, don't go and like reserve another hotel room or anything. Just use what you got. Use the bathroom. And as a bonus dad move for that, if you forget a monitor, just put one of your phones, put it on FaceTime. You can go out into the hallway, go into the lobby, whatever. Lobbies, by the way, have bathrooms, so you can always just use that. Not a big deal.
This also works if you live in New York. Like, if you live in New York,
Yes.
your kid's going to sleep and you have a baby, they're going to sleep in the closet.
I don't know if I would make that like there's definitely a fire hazard with that if you're doing that permanently. But if you're doing it,
I just know so many people were like, "Oh, we had our baby and then we slept in the closet." Like, that's how it worked. So,
I mean, God forbid, if we had another one, I record this, as you can see, from our freaking laundry room, and that would be where the next one would be going, is just sleeping in here. So hopefully we can avoid that.
Oh, well, this was good. This was a good show without guests. Colby will listen to this and he will be like, yeah, because of the Cal Rally stuff. So again, everyone, handygraphs.com is our site. You can use code HGDads to get $10 off the rest of the year. That is about 2 months of baseball and probably a hockey thing. I'm not tempering expectations. We're gonna have something, but that'll be later in the season.
We'll have more news on it soon.
We'll have movement news on as we have it. We keep telling everybody you're also gonna be. It's also, you'll make the money very quickly. But more importantly is Hall of Fame Bets. You can use the QR code that, if you're watching, it's right down there. HOFapp.com. Use code DADS. They have everything. They don't wait for us to put hockey up. They have it all. It's there. So you can put those in. They have NFL. They have really cool things like team rushing TDs. Like, a lot of these alt markets that I'm absolutely going to take, like over 1.5 rushing TDs. Like, I'm going to slam that for the Eagles. I'm going to slam that for the Ravens. It was like minus 120 last season for the Ravens. I'm like, why would I not take this like a billion times? Great market to bet. And they have a lot of the other fun, like individual player interceptions. Like, they just have really deep analytics that I really like. So, Hall of Fame Bets. So, code DADS. And so for CJ, at Dads That Bet, his name's Slippin' Jimmy though. People come up to me, they're like, "Oh man, do you know Slippin' Jimmy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I call him by his real name."
My pen pal name. Yeah.
Your pen pal name. And for our excellent producer, Spencer, at Spencer_Ray, Ray is RAY. This has been Dad's Bet Baseball. And please like, subscribe, give us reviews, send it to a friend. That's the new mode right now. It's like, hey, I listened to this podcast and it was fantastic. And it's about betting and dads and sports. Give it to somebody. Listen to it with your kids. So, CJ, with that said, what is the final word for this episode?
Big dumper.